I'm Chronix.
And I'm Mocha Bane.
From the most extreme wrestling, and this is your Raw review for December 16th, 2013. And man, TLC, what a crazy pay-per-view.
Crazy indeed. Extreme. TLC tables, ladders, and chairs.
And man, that main event, it was wild. I loved it. The finish, whatever. But Randy Orton is now your new World Heavyweight Champion.
WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Now, they were telling us, and I swear I didn't hear them wrong, that we were going to have just one title. That we would never see both titles in the ring at the same time. But they lied.
And I honestly thought it was double vision due to drinking a Corona, but he did come out a la Chris Jericho 2001 Night After Vengeance with both titles in tow. And it doesn't really look like that much of a unified title to me.
Yeah, it really doesn't. And they call it World Heavyweight Champion. No plural, no S, two belts, one singular name, whatever. Stephanie and Triple H are out there. Randy Orton's got both of his belts. And as all the stars are standing up on the stage, you got Randy Orton trying to cut his promo. And who else to speak up but John Cena? Kind of burying Randy Orton just a little bit.
And you can tell that these guys go way back, that they have never really liked each other. I mean, I don't know what it's like outside of the ring. Maybe they're just professional for the sake of being professional. But John Cena does have a habit of burying the new champions and never letting one person get their moment in the spotlight.
You know, I don't think I saw CM Punk out there on the stage. I don't think he was there. These sound like things that he would have said, but it wasn't. It was John Cena. To me, it's kind of obvious that John Cena is just riding the wave of all of Daniel Bryan's success and all the adoration he's getting from the fans, and he's just stealing it away and using it for his own personal gain. But
I mean, they got to keep him on TV somehow. I mean, I don't know what he's going to do now, but who knows?
And you got John Cena, and he says, you know, if you're a real champion, well, you should just fight Daniel Bryan, because that's what the fans want. And it kind of looks like that's what's going to happen tonight. Oh, Randall, he don't want it. He doesn't want to face him. But the authority points out that, hey, I mean, come on. He's been beat up by the Wyatt family, and we're looking out for you. We're your friend, and we can watch out for you. But we move on. We got Rey Mysterio and The Big Show taking on the tag team champions at Goldust and Cody Rhodes. This match, it was pretty exciting.
It was pretty good, especially coming off the Fatal 4-Way that they had at the pay-per-view. Cody Rhodes has definitely stepped up his game. Goldust is looking better than ever. Rey Mysterio and The Big Show can still go, but it's obvious that they both might be winding down at the end of their careers. If I give them at least both another year, maybe two, but Big Show's almost 42, 43 years old. Rey Mysterio is about to be in his 40s if he hadn't hit it already. I think this is the beginning of the end for both of those guys. But they put on great quality matches, so, you know, hey.
But hey, Big Show and Rey Mysterio were mysteriously voted by the fans on the WWE app to go into this match. Now, we both voted for the primetime players. They did not win, not even close.
Exactly.
It was pretty sad, and what was even sadder was the announcers are sitting there doing commentary and taking not one, not two, but I believe multi-selfies. It was like they don't even care about the match, even though it was a good match. They're sitting there just taking pictures of themselves.
And really, that's what kills the TV show for a lot of people in the audience, because, you know, you get disconnected with the product when the announcers are disconnected with the product. You never saw Jim Ross deviate subjects. He might talk about matches later on in the night, but he paid attention to that match. And I mean, it's just really, it's really dumb, you know. That's like having Monday Night Football where, you know, the announcers don't talk about what's going on the field. They're sitting there taking pictures of themselves against the backdrop for their Instagram accounts. That's just ridiculous.
Well, How are the fans supposed to believe that the match is great when the announcers aren't even going to pay attention? And the match itself was actually a good match. I just imagine Jim Ross and Jim Cornette just going crazy at home, being like, "You just can't do that."
I wish they were still there.
It was brutal. But speaking of brutal, next we have Bad News Barrett. It hurts me because Wade Barrett could be a great heel. And I mean, yeah, he's annoying in this role, and he's an arrogant prick. But do I even care to see him get beat up by one of the good guys? Not even. I forget that he even has this gimmick until he shows up the next week doing the same thing.
So is this the part where we could get a little Amazing Grace queued up? Because this is the death of another gimmick. WWE creative. I don't know if they're popping mollies and sweating, or I don't think the wellness policy applies to these guys, but WWE creative, for lack of a better term, sucks.
Well, yeah, I would say pretty much so. Wade Barrett, he's had so many repackagings, so many new theme songs, it's slightly ridiculous. But we see Randy Orton, he's upset at the match, but he gets consoled, so it looks like he's going to be okay going against this match later on in the main event. But now we got Dolph Ziggler taking on Fandango. They had this pre-show match. I didn't catch it. Did you see it?
No, I did not catch it.
We both saw the pay-per-view, but we didn't catch this match, so we got to see it again. This time, Ziggler comes away with the victory. We move on and got the Real Americans pretty over, believe it or not, going against Big E Langston and Mark Henry. Not really sure why they're tagging, but these guys, they're good on their own. They're good in a tag team.
Pretty interesting match, definitely is going to be interesting what they're going to do with Mark Henry and Big E Langston, but I definitely would like to see the Real Americans get the nod in the tag division because, there needs to be a good, strong heel team carrying the belts right now.
True. And I mean, Antonio Cesaro, that dude is just awesome. But in this match, Big E Langston and Mark Henry win. But come on, these guys, you got the Intercontinental Champion and Mark Henry, former World Heavyweight Champion. You got some real star power going in there. And we can't really count Jack Swagger's World Heavyweight Championship. That doesn't really count.
Yep.
But
at least we're getting tag team wrestling. This point 2 years ago, nobody gave two craps about the tag team division. So at least this seems to be a step in the right direction.
Something, yes. Hey, they're having some good matches. You can't deny it. Ryback and Curtis Axel. Well, they're not really that great of a tag team, but they're taking on the little funk adapt or whatever. You got Sweet Tea and I thought they broke up. Did I miss something?
Well, they got into it at the pay-per-view last night, and it was believed that they broke up, but, they came out shucking and jiving and
dancing and just happy. But we did see Brodus, and he didn't just have his regular old mohawk. He had some little cross braiding going on there. It was, I guess that's his heel haircut.
And anywhere there are braids, trouble is soon to follow.
I guess so. But it wasn't enough. Those braids wasn't enough. And Ryback and Curtis Axel come away. And it looks like now that this match is over, that they are completely broken up. Maybe I'm just jumping the gun again. But it looks like they were, because R-Truth and Xavier Woods over there on commentary, they're like, oh, the Funkadactyls, they hadn't got to dance. And they got to dance tonight with R-Truth and Xavier Woods. And old Brodus K, he looked a little bit sad.
Well, he did splash Tenzai 2 times, so I think that's pretty much a fair sign that they're done.
Yeah, they are done. Okay. Now, CM Punk, he's out in the ring and he's finally going to talk. And he's cutting this promo talking about Triple H and getting kicked in the face by Shawn Michaels. And you were sitting there saying, oh, Shawn Michaels is going to come out. And I was like, nah, they're not going to build to a Shawn Michaels. No, they can't fight. But HBK's music hits and he comes down to the ring. And, they're in Dallas, Texas. This is Shawn Michaels. And the crowd is just boisterously chanting, "You sold out."
Yep, Shawn Michaels in all his cross-eyed and camoed glory.
He looked pretty special indeed, but I don't think they're going to be having any kind of match. I just can't see it.
Well, I mean, it's interesting build-up because where does WWE go with this? Now, I think that this will all somehow in a convoluted way lead to a Daniel Bryan Shawn Michaels match, but hey, you never know. I mean, CM Punk and Shawn Michaels have never faced each other before. I don't know about you, but I'd like to see Shawn in one more match. I mean, the guy, he seems like he could go. I
think anybody would want to see him, but I mean, he said that he wasn't going to have a match, and we all believed him. So, I don't know. But he has been there quite a lot, almost every single week, so it's a possibility. I mean, they're keeping up the interest anyways. Now we have the Shield going against Punk and his WWE apt voted whatever partners, and they happen to be the Usos.
And I mean, we've only seen the Usos fight the Shield for the 19th millionth time. I mean, they should have the Usos should have been put in this category if they were still hot and they had the tag titles. Now, I think this is the one where we voted for the primetime players because you had it was the primetime players, Los Matadores, and the Usos, and I voted for the primetime players, but
yeah, apparently no one else did, or that thing was a little bit rigged. Oh, but it just wasn't enough. The Shield, they came away with a pretty solid victory there. I mean, Punk pretty much beat all of those guys last night, but didn't happen this time. So I thought the Shield, I think they got to be breaking up soon.
Yeah, I think that there is a lot of fan interest to see what all three of these guys can do on their own. I mean, we've watched FCW and NXT before. Pretty much every wrestling fan has seen what they can do on their own. Roman Reigns is a surprise of the group because, I initially when the Shield got called up, I thought it was going to be Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Chris Hero. But Roman Reigns is a pleasant surprise. I mean, he's got it.
Yeah.
Comes from a great family, great wrestling family.
I just can't even imagine what their ring gear would look like outside of the Shield, or what their gimmicks would be like. But, it's obviously not that far away. Now, we got the Wyatts, and they're doing this promo, and they're basically talking to a chair, and it was pretty creepy. And you even, pointed out that, Bray Wyatt, how surprising it is, how good he's become, because he was just like the big fat guy in the Nexus.
Husky Harris, though.
But he really was he's shining the most right now.
The army tank with a Ferrari engine, I believe. But what really struck me as creepy last night when he did that crab walk. Yes. That was creepy.
That was just straight up weird.
That was just strange.
Now, we had AJ and Tamina. You had the Bella Twins and Natty, and Alicia Fox was on the face team as well. So this match, I didn't think was going to be all that special, but there was a moment in there where a super kick right into the Bella's face. I was just like, oh my God.
Tamina Snuka delivered the most vicious super kick I have ever seen. And when we were sitting here watching it, I was like, wow, man, either that was real or who was it? I think it was Nikki Bella that got hit in the face.
Maybe.
Well, it was one of them, but I was like, either, okay, that was real or she did a hell of a job selling that move. And I think she might have knocked a couple of teeth out. It just came in so quick. And that was just crazy.
And she was not only was she holding her nose during the match, and even after the match, she never stopped holding it while she was getting pinned. After the match was over, when they went to commercial break, she was just holding her nose. I thought that blood was just going to start just spraying out like having blood in a women's match. But, it looked brutal. So that was crazy. I'm going to have to watch that in slow motion to see that.
Ooh.
But now, we got Mark Henry, and he's dressed up as Santa, and I'm like, what is going on? Because Christmas is next week, and WWE is having their own special Christmas show, kind of like they did last year, where Mick Foley got ran over by Del Rio, and it was very hokey and very corny, but I guess they want to have a special kid-friendly edition of Raw. But what I kept thinking during this was, look at Mark Henry. He's being all nice to this kid. He's like, yeah, come sit in my lap, and what do you want for Christmas and everything. I was like, man, he's going to turn on this little kid, and he's going to say, that's what I do.
Well, I love Christmas, and I love wrestling. But I don't think that the two should be intertwined. I think that, it could be Christmas themed, but having Damian Sandow as bad Santa and Mark Henry as good Santa, that's stupid. I mean, we're not dumb. I mean, I would say just, have wrestling as usual, and then, give out, like, toys to the kids in the audience. WWE makes a crap ton of money. You have, like, plenty of action figures and merchandise. I'd say, hey, just give out merchandise for free.
Yeah, bring out that shirt cannon.
I know, right?
But we now have the main event. Randy Orton, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion who has both belts, versus Daniel Bryan. And man, was this match good.
It was very good. It exceeded my expectations wildly. But really, Daniel Bryan made Randy Orton look good, because Randy Orton, he has a tradition of half-assing. Oh, excuse my language, but he half-assed it. I mean, he does a lot, and he's just really become bland and boring. But Daniel Bryan really, really made Randy Orton look good in this match, made him look great.
Yeah, they had a nice little match there, especially for Raw. But as this match was going, and it looked like that Daniel Bryan might have a chance of actually winning and all of this, man, Randy Orton, the squirrel that he was, he did a low blow.
Yep.
Disqualified himself.
Straight for the family jewels.
Just so cheap. So, I mean, that sucks, but, I mean, hey, it's a lot better than Daniel Bryan getting beat clean in the ring and then just moving on and saying, haha, we're leaving you in the dust and forgetting about you. But after this disqualification, about 10 seconds later, John Cena comes running down to the ring and once again just stealing all of that spotlight, stealing all of the goodness or whatever, and just being like, yeah, it's my moment, and like, you screwed him over and everything. But he gets an RKO for his troubles, and Randy Orton, still the champion, standing tall. But overall, I can't complain about Raw. I was very happy.
Yeah, pretty solid show this week.
But hey man, with the Christmas episode coming up next week, I don't know if I'll be able to say the same next time.
We shall see. I mean, I love, like I said earlier, which was 2 minutes ago, I love Christmas. I'm a natural, pretty much a Clark Griswold around my house, and I love wrestling, but, I mean, come on, let's just, I don't know. If you even want to recap, like, a year of Raw, because, I mean, really, I don't know.
Yeah, but it might just be, like, head-smacking inducing, but we will just have to see. As next week's the Christmas episode will air, and we'll just have to see. My God, it might be brutal.